Gary, what's up, man? Hopefully this video is going to be helpful, and hopefully it's going to be helpful to anyone else who sees it. So you had some questions, and at least this is what I understand your questions were about. Seems like you had some questions about how to balance text and images in your email marketing. So I'm going to share some thoughts and then also some examples of some stuff that my partner and I have done with our clients. Okay, so first of all, you don't have to use images. You can just use plain text as is described for the most part in the 90 Days to Freedom program. And this is what most email marketers and kind of the direct response internet marketing space will tell you to do. Everyone loves to hate on images in emails. I think most of that is a little bit overzealous, even if it's true a lot of the time. Images and visuals have been used in marketing for over 100 years. Newspapers, magazines, billboards, even like TV, right? You don't just see like a guy talking and then there's no visual representation of the product, especially if the product is inherently functional. So it's like a kitchen utensil or like a fucking cleaning item. You want to see it do the thing that it does. Or if the product is aesthetic, like clothes, cars, things like that, obviously seeing it helps communicate something about what it is, what meaning it would have for me, etc. I would also argue it fits really well for things like the fitness niche or the dating niche. Seeing attractive women makes you want to go out and meet attractive women, and therefore you might buy a product about dating. Or seeing someone in amazing shape makes you want to be, jacked too, and you're more likely to go buy, especially if that stuff is demonstrating proof of the capability of that brand or that guru, right? So if I try to convince you to buy my dating product or something, but I never show you me with the girl, what are the odds that you're going to trust me to handle one of the most vulnerable things you could ever deal with, right? And similarly, if I said to you, hey, go buy my fucking t-shirt thing, my piece of clothing item, but I never show you what it is, what are the odds you're going to buy it? So eventually images have to come into play. And I think there's nothing wrong with putting them in emails. Especially if you don't overdo it, you're really not going to have a problem with deliverability. Again, this is something that people talk about. I think people are just repeating this, but not actually testing it. I myself have never had a deliverability issue where the issue was about an image. I've split tested this so many times. I've taken images out. I've put them back in. Hey, do I go to promo or primary or spam or any of that? Images for me never matter. I think good deliverability comes from other stuff. So, okay. Let me just say that. Now, some examples. So again, you can do, and what I recommend, I think in a lot of cases, is a variety. Especially if you're working with a business where images make a lot of sense. Like when I email my email list, which is about marketing and copywriting advice, I don't use a lot of images unless I have like a cool picture to share, in which case I literally do just throw it in the email. So you had a question that was like, well, how do I make it not look like I just copy and pasted it from a Word document or something like that? In my opinion, just do that. It doesn't matter. If that makes it feel more personal, if that's on brand with the business, and frankly, it makes it seem like just a human being wrote the email and threw in an image in there. If the image is good, it'll work. There's really nothing wrong with doing that. You can just leave it very simple like that. If you happen to be on my email list, feel free to look at the images the emails that I send out whenever I do my holiday charity coaching call, because I always share images of all the toys that we buy for the Toys for Tots donation drive, and I just throw them in the email. There's no elaborate design. It's just text and then some images. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're working with a brand where aesthetics are more important to their brand and just the overall branding requires some more imagery, I'm going to show you some examples of how you can do that. Okay, here's one particular client that my business partner and I have been working with. They're called Weekend Chasers. It's sort of a girly clothing brand, but let me just show you how we do some of the things. I'm going to show you kind of a variety of emails. So this is the welcome email. We have some big, bold images, big, bold buttons, some design, some image, right? And then we go into copy and text. It's short, it's punchy, and it's very on brand for them. It's very like language that's specific to their brand. It's not just copy for the sake of it. So the copy should do something that enhances the sale. It should bond the brand with the customer. It should show off the benefits and features or whatever the fuck of the thing that you're selling. And it should be, in my opinion, like engaging, fun, entertaining. It should be something that gets you excited to open more emails. This is true for every email you send, by the way. I think this is also true for cart abandons. Really important. You don't just want to be like, hey, buy this thing, buy this thing, buy this thing. If you can make it fun, make it entertaining, if you make someone excited to see your emails in the inbox, that goes a long way. So you can pause the video and read this. It's pretty, branded copy. And then we have some bestseller images here, right? So as you can see, kind of a combo of imagery and also copy, right? Next up here, here's one where we sent kind of a longer plain text email, and then we have just one image that shows off the product. So this shirt that we're selling is all about affirmations. So we did this kind of fun email where we talked about like why affirmations actually work, right? This is more of a direct response style plain text email. And then we tie it into talking about the shirt. But, people are buying a shirt. It's a visual thing inherently. In our opinion, it's worth showing off the image. So we threw the image in there. We put some, colored text, not a big deal, big bold button. And that's that. And then we have some other buttons here, but it's not really a big deal. So this is kind of like what you were talking about. Like, should we just throw the image in there? And yeah, you totally can. But I think in my opinion, this is a better email not having the image, because otherwise people aren't seeing the shirt and they're not necessarily excited about it. And then, so again, you can pause it, kind of read the copy, but this is a little bit longer in terms of copy. Now let me show you one that's shorter in terms of copy, also for a product. So same brand, I'm keeping this consistent so you can kind of see the variety. So in this case, so in that previous email, we wrote copy kind of about an idea. We wrote about affirmations, okay? And then we tied it into the product. In this email, we're doing plain text copy for the most part, but it's just about the product. So if we kind of look through this, this idea of spice, but also having some fun, we bolded the name of the shirt. It's called Make My Own Luck Mesh Top. Then I kind of put some bullets in here with like the features, right? The color, the patterns, the stretchiness, and how comfortable it is. Then we did some copy here. You might call this dimensionalization, as in what dimension does it take in your life? So some suggestions for how to layer it, throw in a leather jacket for that cute plus edgy vibe. And keep in mind, this is for a very girly brand, so you want to use that language. And then a little bit of copy to emphasize the urgency and the scarcity, like this thing might sell out fast. Button here, really attention grabbing, some emojis, this hot pink text. But then we have some images that show off how to style the thing, right? And this is very congruent with the email because we're saying it's fun and edgy. So we should show some edginess, right? So she's sitting on the chair backwards. That's kind of edgy, whatever. She's kind of layered it under this like cool shirt. She's wearing boots. This shows off what the pattern is. Also kind of shows off the stretchiness, makes it look comfortable. In here, she's wearing it with a like a denim vest type thing, a little bit edgy. You get the idea. And then they also have a bunch of other mesh tops in other colors. So this is a very specific thing. So in this case, it makes sense to show off other mesh tops that people might be interested in if they're seeing other fabric or if they're interested in other colors or fabrics. So hopefully you get this. Like, it's plain text, it's direct response in a sense, but this one's much more about the product itself. And as you can see, I still found a way to have like an idea about the product, this kind of like spice meets fun kind of angle. And then I'm using some text to describe what the product is like, describe what it's like to have the product, sort of the dimensionalization, and then adding some scarcity, urgency, so on and so forth. Now let me show you one more. This has no text. Okay, this is actually for the same restock. So this is all design. Big headline, a little bit of copy, big clear button, and then some copy that's like specific to the thing. So showing that it has stretch material, talking about the sizes that way, because they cater to a lot of customers that have are very large, wear like very large sizes or very small sizes. So they ask us to emphasize that. Little bit of copy to kind of, add some, again, the kind of the idea of the product, but by no means is this plain text. This is mostly design and images, right? So we're really just showing it off. And this was just a restock, so people were hungry for this. So we don't necessarily need a lot of copy here. The idea is people were already hungry for this. So we just need to say, hey, look at this cool thing. You were already asking for it. It's back. So just go buy it, right? Then in the subsequent email, which I showed you first, maybe I should have showed these in a different order. Then we share a little bit more copy, kind of talk more about the product. And we're trying to make it fun, interesting. We want people to be excited to open the emails, even if they don't buy. And then we also like talk about the different ways to style the thing, so on and so forth. Now, if it were up to me, I would probably send a third email that's just like a lookbook with a bunch of different styles, maybe in GIFs for this shirt, but I don't think we have that from the client. But as you can see, there's a variety of different ways to sell even one item using images, design, plain text copy, and sort of the spectrum of how much of each that you're using. So this is all to say, don't be afraid of using images. If you're working with a brand that has a particular aesthetic, it doesn't hurt to add more of that design and aesthetic to the email so that it has the same overall aesthetic and branding that the rest of everything they do has. If you don't want to use images, you're probably okay. A lot of email marketers don't. And as long as you're linking them to something that has imagery in it, a VSL, a product page, whatever, even a post on social media, that can handle a lot of the heavy lifting there. But I also wouldn't be afraid of throwing like an image in the email. And a super quick way to do this, by the way, if you have a client who's not great at sending you images, you can actually just go to their product page or a video or an Instagram post or whatever, and just screenshot whatever's there and then throw that screenshot in the email. Because the email image doesn't have to be the highest quality. So a screenshot is often perfectly fine. I do this a lot with clients where I don't want to deal with the back and forth of asking them for a photo shoot or images or whatever. I just need to make my own. And sometimes like the video has more cool stuff than like the photo shoot. So I just screenshot something from the video and it's easier. So don't be afraid of images. Feel free to add some. If you're working with a brand that doesn't really have a particular aesthetic, yeah, just throw some images, some pictures, whatever, in the email, just plainly. It shouldn't affect deliverability, and it'll add a little bit of fun, especially if you're showing, like, if you're working with a personal brand and you're showing off some of the personal side by adding images, that can work super well. If you know Justin Goff, I don't think he's really emailing his list anymore, but he had an email list that was pretty active. He would email, I think, twice a day, every day. And he would always, in every single email, put a selfie of him like holding like an index card with some text on it. It's not like the craziest image, but it just adds a little bit of fun, makes it feel a little bit more personal. So that's just one example. I'm not saying to do that exactly, but it's showing you some ideas for how you can take like a personal brand, add some images that make it more fun. Even Ian, if you're on his list, he puts images every now and then, pictures of his house, I think pictures of his dog. If he's speaking at an event or if there's something going on with like friends or family, he'll occasionally put a picture of that. And again, it just makes it feel more personal. It's kind of showing off the lifestyle that he has. And that really fits his brand. And it's good for him to show that off. So whatever makes sense for the clients you're working with, there's often images that you can use. And then don't be afraid to add copy also to, again, enhance the relationship, make it more fun and amusing. Dimensionalize the product more. At the very least, I'll say this: it's faster in many cases to just write words than it is to take a damn photo shoot. So the words can describe things and talk about things. They're also really good. The other thing that is really good about text is it's really good to tell the story of the product if there is one. So talking about what inspired them to make a thing, or like how they use the thing, any stories related to that, anything like that, any secrets, any insights, any breakthroughs related to the thing, even if it's a physical product, that can really be powerful. So like if you were selling a cleaning product, let's just say, or a kitchen product, you can talk about like, I used to cook with my mom and she always struggled to chop these things. That's why I invented the fucking chopper 3000, whatever the hell, right? That's a good story that really you can only tell via text or like maybe a video or something, but in an email, it's going to be text. And that's probably more powerful than just an image alone, right? Anyway, whoever checked out this video, I hope it was useful and interesting. This is a fun topic, and I think not a lot of email marketing people are really talking about this because everyone is just kind of on the extremes. It's either like all design or like, LOL, you idiot, you use images. What a dumbass. And it's like, images sell too. What's the problem? I think, in my opinion, to be honest, a lot of that is just, it's copywriters who don't want to admit that like there's something else out there besides what they do that also assists in the money-making process. And I don't get why people are so insecure about that, but it's like there's many ways to make money. It's not just writing your plain text emails. You can add images too, guys. And if that's not what you do, don't worry about it. Fine. Like, make less money, but you're doing less work, so it's fine. Or you can team up with someone who's a designer. I don't do any of the design. I have a guy on my team who does this. But if it makes sense to do that for the brand, you can choose to do that. And if you don't want to do it, it's cool to make less money. You're doing less work also. So it still works out. If that doesn't make sense, I'll make another video about it. But anyway, that's a bit of a rant for this. I hope this was helpful to anyone who saw this. I'll probably end up sending this to my email list now because I think this is a good video. But yeah, all right. Thanks for watching. I love you, whoever you are. See you soon.